two artificial intelligence companies are trading under $3 right now. One of them sits around 95 cents. The other trades at about $2.99. Now that might sound like normal penny stocks, but here's where things get interesting. Both of these companies are building technology connected to the growing AI economy, the same industry pushing some tech giants toward trillion-dollar valuations. Yet these two are still priced like forgotten microcaps. So the real question is, are they cheap for a reason? Or are they simply being ignored by the market? Because one of these companies is building AI systems used to analyze massive volumes of digital content, while the other is turning complex global policy data into machine-readable intelligence for organizations that can't afford to be wrong. Two completely different parts of the AI ecosystem, both still under $3. So let's start with the first one. Imagine trying to analyze thousands of hours of video, audio recordings, and live broadcasts every single day. News networks, law enforcement agencies, and media companies generate enormous amounts of content constantly. Inside that content are patterns, keywords, faces, objects, voices, and trends. But manually analyzing all of that information would take thousands of people. This is exactly where artificial intelligence platforms are starting to change the equation. Instead of humans searching through endless files, AI systems can automatically scan and understand video, audio, and text in real time. They can detect faces, identify logos, transcribe speech, translate languages, recognize objects, and even analyze sentiment across media content. In other words, turning raw media data into searchable intelligence. And as AI adoption grows, this type of system becomes incredibly valuable. Think about news organizations trying to track where their content appears online. Law enforcement agencies analyzing digital evidence. Media companies monitoring brand exposure across thousands of broadcasts. Or advertisers trying to measure how often their products appear in television or streaming content. All of these use cases depend on one thing: AI that can understand massive volumes of unstructured data. The platform built by this company functions almost like an operating system for artificial intelligence. It connects multiple AI models together and processes enormous amounts of information across audio, video, and text data streams. Instead of relying on a single algorithm, organizations can run multiple AI engines simultaneously, analyzing content, extracting insights, and automating workflows. And the demand for this kind of capability is growing fast. Because as more content moves online and more organizations collect digital data, the amount of information being generated every day keeps exploding. But here's where the story becomes more interesting. This company isn't just targeting media companies. It's also expanding into government and public sector clients, agencies that need AI tools to process evidence, monitor digital information, and manage large data archives. In other words, the technology is moving into areas where data analysis is mission-critical. Yet despite building an enterprise AI platform and signing new contracts across multiple industries, the stock still trades under $3. The company is Veritone Inc., trading under the ticker VERY. And recently the stock has been hovering around about $2.99 per share. Its core platform, known as aiWARE, essentially acts as an AI operating system that allows organizations to deploy and manage multiple AI models across their data workflows. The company generates revenue primarily through subscription-based software and usage fees for businesses running AI analysis on its platform. So the question becomes, if AI adoption keeps accelerating across media, government, and enterprise data systems, could platforms that manage AI workflows eventually become more valuable infrastructure? Or will this remain a niche segment of the market? Either way, that leads us to the second company. Because this next AI platform focuses on something completely different. Not media. Not video. But information that shapes entire industries. Policy, regulation, and legislation. Every year governments around the world introduce thousands of new bills, regulatory proposals, and policy changes. For large companies operating across multiple regions, tracking those changes can be extremely complicated. A single regulatory update can affect supply chains, product approvals, taxes, or compliance requirements. And historically, companies relied on teams of analysts and lawyers to manually monitor those changes. But now artificial intelligence is beginning to automate that process. Instead of manually scanning thousands of pages of legislative documents, AI systems can analyze new bills, compare policy changes, and summarize potential impacts almost instantly. This is where the second company enters the picture. Its platform monitors legislation, regulations, government announcements, and political signals, then uses AI to help organizations understand what those changes might mean for their business operations. For example, if a new environmental regulation is proposed, the platform can instantly analyze how it may impact companies operating in that sector. If a new bill is introduced in Congress, the system can compare it to previous legislation and highlight key differences. The goal is simple: turn complex policy data into actionable intelligence. And recently, the company has expanded its platform with generative AI tools that help users draft legislative language and analyze policy proposals more quickly. In other words, AI isn't just analyzing policy anymore. It's starting to assist with writing and shaping it. That's a powerful shift. Because governments, corporations, and advocacy groups all depend on understanding legislation before it becomes law. And the faster they can analyze that information, the better they can respond. Which brings us to the reveal. The company is FiscalNote Holdings Inc., trading under the ticker NOTE. And the stock recently trades around 95 cents per share. Its core platform aggregates massive datasets related to legislation, regulatory activity, and political developments, then applies artificial intelligence to help organizations track and interpret those changes. Customers include corporations, policy professionals, and government affairs teams who need to understand regulatory developments quickly. Yet despite operating at the intersection of AI and government intelligence, the stock still trades under $1. So when you compare these two companies, something interesting appears. The first company focuses on AI infrastructure for analyzing digital media and unstructured data. The second focuses on AI intelligence for analyzing legislation and regulatory systems. One processes video, audio, and enterprise data. The other processes policy, law, and government signals. Two completely different parts of the artificial intelligence ecosystem. Both still trading in penny stock territory. Of course, smaller AI companies also come with significant risks. Competition is intense. Profitability can take time. And not every platform succeeds in scaling adoption. But the broader AI economy is still expanding rapidly. And as that expansion continues, the companies building specialized AI platforms for different industries could become increasingly important. Which raises the final question. If artificial intelligence continues spreading into media analysis, regulatory intelligence, and enterprise data systems, will the next generation of AI winners only come from trillion-dollar tech giants? Or could some of the smaller platforms building specialized AI infrastructure today eventually grow into something much bigger? Either way, these two companies show how many different layers exist inside the AI economy, and how some of those layers are still trading under $3.